The exploits of the judges have had their fair share of gore already, but be warned, the events in today's story are even more gruesome. You should certainly preview this story before showing it to your kids. It'll be better for us if we stay in an Israelite town, like Gibeah. But whatever you do, don't stay here in the town square. Bring out the new guy so we can have sex with him. No, said the old man, he's my guest. And what you're saying is disgusting and wrong. Look, this man has a concubine. If we give them to you to do whatever, will you leave my guest alone? She struggled back to the house where her husband was, collapsed on the doorstep. A horrible crime has been committed, more horrible than anything we've ever heard of. We need to do something about this. The Israelites held a national council and said, "How did this horrible crime happen?" The husband of the murdered woman said, "Well, my concubine and I, we stopped for a night in Gibeah, and some of the town leaders surrounded the house and tried to kill me. They raped and murdered my concubine, so I cut her body into pieces and sent them out so you could all see the terrible thing that had happened. Now you all need to decide, what are we going to do about this?" The Israelites said, "We're going to attack Gibeah and pay them back for the crime that they've committed." Now the Israelite tribe that owned Gibeah were called the Benjamites. So the Israelites at the council sent a message to the Benjamites and said, "Hand over these criminals to us so we can kill them and get rid of this evil from amongst us." But the Benjamites refused. Instead, they got all their fighting men together to defend the town of Gibeah. So the Israelites at the council said, "Because of this, we're going to stop at nothing to wipe out the Benjamites. We'll attack them, and if anyone survives, we won't let their family lines continue. We all promise not to let a Benjamite ever marry our daughters." Well, the fighting was fierce and lasted for 3 days. Tens of thousands of people on both sides died. Finally, the Israelites conquered the town of Gibeah. They killed all the women and children in the town and set the town on fire. Then they went to all the other Benjamite towns and set them on fire and killed everyone they found there. After a while, the Israelites realized what they'd done. They said, "God, why has such a terrible thing happened to us? A whole tribe has now been wiped out." You know, they wouldn't be completely wiped out if we could find wives for the survivors. Yeah, but we all promised not to let any Benjamites marry our daughters. When we summoned everyone to the National Council, were there any towns that didn't come? So they asked around and found that there was one town that hadn't sent anyone to the National Council. Well, they deserve to die. So they attacked the town and kidnapped all the unmarried young women and killed everyone else in the town. Then they gave the kidnapped women to the surviving Benjamites as wives. But there weren't enough wives for all of them. So they said to the others, "Look, we've promised not to let you marry any of our daughters. But here's an idea. You know the great annual festival to God? Hide nearby, and when the young women come out dancing at the festival, go and kidnap them to be your wives. If their fathers complain, we'll smooth it over with them." So the Benjamites hid near the festival to God, and when the young women came out dancing, they kidnapped them and took them away as their wives. After that, all the Israelites travelled back to their own homes. Those were the days when the Israelites didn't have a king, and everyone did whatever they felt like. Well, that was the very last story in the book of Judges. And you know, that story actually makes me angry to tell. Why do you think the authors included it in the Bible? Let me know in the comments. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll continue with our regular programming. So I'll see you then on Storytime with Josh.